Hi guys, good evening and welcome back once again to the EdWord. I'm your host Eddie, and in tonight's video I'll be giving you my review for the latest and great new episode of Star Trek Strange New Worlds, which also happens to be the second to last episode of the season. That's right, next Thursday is the season 1 finale of Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Hard to believe it feels like it just dropped yesterday, although it's actually been about 2 months now. Now, before I get into all of that, of course, please be warned, this is a spoiler-filled review. So if you're not caught up on Star Trek Strange New Worlds by this episode, the newest episode, which is episode 9, do not keep watching or listening, as I will be discussing spoilers, and this is a spoiler-filled episode review, because a lot of shit went down, and there's a lot to talk about. So, that being said, you have been warned. Let's get right back into it. Excuse me. First and foremost, I loved how much this episode reminded me of one of my all-time favorite sci-fi horror films, Aliens. You have a crew in space go to investigate a derelict spacecraft to look for survivors, and then you discover there's a bunch of scary alien monsters running around, bursting out of people's chests and turning gradually into bigger, more effective and lethal killing machines. And it was great. This episode had a wonderful sense and flavor of sci-fi horror to it, just like Aliens. You know, you had people armed with weapons hunting around for a small group of hostile creatures, and then we also had some great character moments scattered throughout as well, just like in Aliens. So I really love this episode for that reason in particular, but I also love the new look and design of the Gorn. That's right, the Gorn have returned in this episode, which I was very, very happy about. I was like, yes, more Gorn. Hopefully we get to see them this time, and sure enough, we did, and they look scary as hell. Nowhere near like the original one from the original series way back in the day with like the one that fought Kirk. But it sure was great to see this brand new redesigned look they have, because they look scary and rad as hell. And I really, really enjoyed it. I just really enjoyed this episode overall. I think the one thing that I didn't like, and a lot of people are going to have the same complaint, is that I didn't like seeing Hemmer go, the Andorian engineer. I really did not want to see him die. I was like, oh no, see, I thought he just took a nasty wound to the neck with that acidic saliva when the Gorn spat at him, and he put it between himself and Uhura. But I was like, oh no. And then as Kan Sun Ying revealed, she's like, no, that's how they reproduce. It's how they spread their seed. It's in the saliva. And then it gets inside the host, the victim. And so he knew he was a goner, and then he sacrificed himself to protect the rest of the crew. I did love his sweet farewells to everybody, especially Uhura, and you could tell how much it touched her with how she was, sobbing her eyes out, as a lot of the characters were. And it was just sad to see him go. I'm like, oh my God, this is like one of our big character deaths of the season, and it's a member of the crew, one of the senior officers, the chief engineering officer, dead, gone. So that was a huge bummer. Also, he looked cool. He was like a blind Andorian. He was pretty damn cool looking. He's an interesting character. And of course, they killed him off. But God, I loved his farewell to Spock and to Uhura, just his farewell overall to everybody. And hats off to the actor who did a great job playing this character throughout this whole season, especially in this episode. It was great. So I really enjoyed this episode. I just didn't like seeing Hemmer go, because I really liked him a lot, and I was hoping they'd do more with him. But obviously that isn't the case, because now he is sadly dead. But this episode was a fun, entertaining, and had at moments pretty scary and frightening, fun-filled adventure that was very reminiscent of some classic sci-fi horror films, and I really dig that. I'm glad that Star Trek likes to they dip their toes into different genres throughout multiple installments of this franchise. Sometimes it's a bit more comedic, a bit more dramatic, a bit darker in terms of war or themes of like the military and whatnot. And sometimes they even tackle themes of not only social and political issues by providing commentary on it, but sometimes they'll do horror stuff as well, which made it very entertaining, and it really appealed to the horror fan in me. I was like, yes. So really enjoyed this episode, as I hope you guys did too. What did you think of it? I'd love to hear your thoughts and feelings on it. Speaking of feelings, are we getting some serious sparks between Chapel and Spock? Because it certainly would make sense considering the growing chemistry and attraction between the two of them. I do like how she was there for him when his rage was starting to get the better of him, but she helped calm him down, so that was pretty cool. And it was a nice romantic subplot to an otherwise scary, exciting, action-filled episode. So I hope you guys liked this episode as much as I did. What did you think of it? I would love to hear your thoughts and feelings on it. Thank you so much for watching. Have an awesome rest of your night. The Season 1 finale of Star Trek Strange New Worlds drops next Thursday on Paramount Plus. I believe Season 2 is already in production. Have a great rest of your night, everybody. Thanks for watching. And of course, until next time, may the Force be with you.